Did you miss your deadline to renew your Medicaid coverage? You can still send your completed annual review form to Healthy Connections Medicaid. You may be assigned to another health plan, but you can ask to come back to First Choice within 60 days of renewed Medicaid eligibility. It's your family. It's your choice. First Choice is the right choice. Renew and choose us. Visit selecthealthofsc.com/renew to learn more.
My brother-in-law died suddenly, and now my sister and her kids have to sell their home. That's why I told my husband we could not put off getting life insurance any longer. An agent offered us a 10-year, $500,000 policy for nearly $50 a month. Then we called SelectQuote. SelectQuote found us identical coverage for only $19 a month, a savings of $369 a year.
Whether you need a $500,000 policy or a $5 million policy, SelectQuote could save you more than 50% on term life insurance.
For your free quote, go to SelectQuote.com. SelectQuote.com. That's SelectQuote.com.
SelectQuote. We shop. You save. Full details on example policies at SelectQuote.com/commercials.
Hi, this is Lori Johnson with Hancock Whitney Bank, and you're listening to Local Leaders, the podcast. Visit localleadersthepodcast.com for previous episodes or for information on appearing on the show.
Hey everyone, it's Jim Chapman with Local Leaders, the podcast, and I want to make you aware of a fantastic deal they have going on right now at Fit Body Boot Camp in Denham Springs, Louisiana. If you go to the link getfitdenhamsprings.com/local leaders, you can get $30 off of the regular price of $129 for 30 days of classes. Go to the link, click it, sign up. 30-day classes for only $99 through that link. It's a special deal offered to all of our listeners at Local Leaders, the podcast. Hey everyone, and welcome back to another edition of Local Leaders, the podcast. I have a lady sitting across from me. We were just talking off episode about her rise on YouTube, doing her own YouTube show, Conversations with Kai.
So much fun.
Yes, it is. And she films that right here at my studio and does a wonderful job with it. So today we're going to talk all about the housing market, about what she's doing in the housing market and how her company brings value to it, and also learn a little bit about her. So first, welcome to the show, Ms. Kai Burton.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
It's a pleasure to have you always, Kai, come into Local Leaders of the podcast. We want to talk a little bit about you before we talk about your business. From this area, born and raised, I guess you could say, but your family, you have an interesting story that goes back a little bit with your grandfather.
Yeah, so my dad was actually born in Seoul, Korea. He's half Korean. My grandmother was Korean, and she got pregnant from an American soldier during the Korean War. She never would tell us who his real dad was, but my grandfather that adopted him was in the CIA. So when he met my grandmother, he changed my dad's birth certificate, didn't even really legally adopt him, but changed my dad's birth certificate, moved him to Hawaii, retired, and became an insurance agent, and named himself David Smith, and named my dad Mike Smith, and then his other son that he had with my grandmother, John Smith. So, like, conspiracy theorists,
holy cow,
didn't want anybody to find them. The most boring names on the planet, where if you Google them or try to research, you'd find,
millions.
Yes.
Yeah. And that's like the short version. I'm sure the long version is like days
it's very
long.
interesting.
It's probably a whole movie in and of itself.
But that's where my name came from, Kai. Yeah. It's Hawaiian. My dad just has Hawaiian roots. He loved it there. I mean, we have so much. We went there after he passed away in 2009, and man, it was just like how we grew up. He brought Hawaii to Louisiana. Even his nickname when he moved here, they nicknamed him Pineapple.
Oh, that's awesome.
So
yes, and Kai in Hawaiian means
water, ocean.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so.
You know, when we were talking about this, I'd never told Kai, but I always thought her name was cool. It's just different. Like I'm intrigued with names that are not common.
And I hated it when I was growing up.
Did you really?
I just wanted a normal name like Sarah,
Susan,
or Jennifer. Like, why can't I have a normal name? But now I love it.
Yeah. And when you told me about the whole thing about it, I'm like, of course it was Hawaiian. How did I not figure that out? But yeah,
there's a lot of different versions
name.
though, because I meet people now all the time that, oh yes, I have a nephew named Kai or something like that, and there's a German version, there's a Japanese, but
love it.
Yeah,
love it. You know, when my son was born, I wanted to name him River, like River Phoenix. My wife threw a fit. There was no way that was happening. We ended up with Trevor.
Well, my mom,
I was like, River is a cool name. She's like, I ain't naming my
that
kid
is
River.
a cool name. But my mom wanted to name me Honey. And my dad was like, my daughter is not growing up and guys calling her Honey.
Hey, honey,
no.
come here, honey.
Yeah. Honey
People be
Morel, she wanted to name me. I'm glad my dad won that one.
Yeah. Very interesting story on how your whole family ended up in the United States from Korea and during Korean War time.
Yeah, my grandmother, in order to escape war camp, she was a prisoner of war. She hid rice under her and her friend's bed and let it rot. And she ate the rotten rice so it would make her sick because she knew that that's the only way they would get sent away. So she, she
awesome.
Yeah. And my grandmother's work ethic too, just, I remember growing up and we weren't around her all the time because they still lived in Hawaii. My dad moved to Louisiana because he got in so much trouble. My dad was in and out of jail 18 times before he was even 20 years old. He got involved with the mafia and all that stuff in Hawaii. So he moved here to get away from all that, met my mom, who was the exact opposite. I mean, just a good girl.
Yeah.
And then here's this wild man.
That's how it always starts, Kai.
And then here that I'm the product of those two people. But yeah, my grandmother was just served her family. I mean, she was always working and she didn't actually work and make money, but just serving her family. I mean, I remember 4 seasons, wherever she was scrubbing. She was bringing Clorox and cleaning everything. Our house, whatever hotel they were in, she was just always working. She would work hard.
Yeah. Well, she had been through a lot and survived a lot. And usually that's, it's a bloodline thing, right? And you also work very hard. We're going to get into all the array, if you will, of things that you do in life and in your business. So started kind of making your way in life after high school. In 1999, you got kind of your first taste in real estate.
I got my real estate license in 1999 when I graduated high school. I also had 3 other jobs at the time. But I had moved out of my parents' house, so I had no, financial support or anything like that.
Yeah, why make it easy?
Yeah.
I mean,
no, way too independent for that.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So you did. You got your license, and did you do any real estate at that point?
I did. I had a couple of listings, but the company that I went and worked for, there was no training. There was nothing. Like, you just got thrown out to the wolves, really. So it was kind of like,
something.
Learn as you go process. There was no mentorship. I mean, it was really like, you were on your own.
Yeah. At some point you decided, I'm going to do some other things, and it eventually led to you working for the state at some point. So tell us about that part of your
I worked for the state for 10 years. I started off at a temp agency, actually. They hired me to do a job that was supposed to last a year, filing paperwork in the fiscal division, and it was supposed to be a year-long project, and I got in there and started organizing and got it done in 3 months. And so the audit director saw what I was doing and how fast I worked and how hard I worked. So she actually lowered her position so that she could hire me in her division, and eventually just grew from there. I ended up in the executive division. I was the board secretary, and so got into that job the highest that I could really go, and then stayed there for 10 years and just could do my job with my eyes closed. Eventually it just got,
that don't sit well with you.
it's just, I was in a beautiful office with, a window view, a big, huge office, making really good money for an administrative assistant, but just, there was no challenge.
Yeah.
No challenge.
Yeah. And that's tough to deal with when you're a highly motivated person who functions off challenge, right?
Yeah.
So,
and I loved the people that I worked with. I loved my job, but it just wasn't challenging.
yeah. William Waldrop of TWFG Insurance in Denham Springs can service all of your insurance needs. Offering auto, life, health, and commercial insurance, William Waldrop of TWFG Insurance is a proud supporter of Local Leaders, the podcast.
Both of my children were born when I was at Lasers,
Okay.
the state retirement system.
And one of them, you have a tattoo, so it signifies a struggle that he had young.
Yeah, my youngest son was born with an omphalocele. So when he was forming in the womb, his skin didn't close before his intestines. And so his intestines were like coming out of his body before the skin closed on him.
I've never even heard of that.
Yeah,
Wow.
it's not very common. And so the whole time that I was pregnant for him, they were looking, I was in, maternal fetal, and they were looking for clubbed hands and clubbed feet the whole time. Because most kids that have that have some kind of major issues in the long run. Like they're, either mental issues or they don't develop correctly. And so I was preparing myself to have a mentally challenged, son.
Yeah.
And through that whole process, it was very stressful for me. But one of the verses that I clung to was like Hebrews 6:19, where it says we have this anchor as our hope for our soul. And I just clung to that, and being around the community that I was in, having other people pray for me. Like I was in and out of the hospital during my second trimester, even because I couldn't keep anything down. I was so stressed out. Like I had to get IVs just to be able to function, because I was a nervous wreck.
Yeah.
But
wow.
But yeah, he is fine today. Hardly ever gets sick. My oldest son was in and out, always on antibiotics. Gavin, he's thriving. He's amazing.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that led me to get the anchor tattoo on my foot.
Yeah.
So we talked about when I was at Lasers, they put out a tattoo policy, and that was kind of my sign.
Yeah. You were like,
yeah, time to do something
not
different.
one to conform.
Yeah. I like my tattoo.
Yeah.
So
I'm not hiding it. Forget it.
Yeah.
Yes. You always kind of step up your game to this like ultra challenging level. You don't see a whole lot of limits on what's possible for you, which is a unique and fantastic quality to have. Most leaders have that. And so they basically came out with this tattoo policy, and you're like, okay, I will go and leave all this security and this job that is pretty easy for me and make my life challenging again,
yes.
to say the least. So what do? You leave and you say, I'm going to go back into real estate?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Awesome.
And then when I went into real estate, I was not going to do it part-time. I was going to go all in. It was going to be feast or famine for me. So that's what I did. I went into real estate full-time, got my license in July of 2012.
Yeah. And how was that? So you go back in it, and was it, I mean, it just seems like everything you do, you're succeeding in, and through a lot of hard work, of course. Was this any different, or was it you were successful? And
Oh, well, to me, it didn't even matter about success at that point. It was I was challenging myself. So
Yeah.
I've been doing these personality tests. I talked to you about the Enneagram.
Yes.
My personality is an 8, so it's the definition of that is a challenger. So always challenging myself. But I went to every single class. I was like a real estate agent on steroids. Like calling for sale by owners, calling expireds, and just there were so many people that would go to class at Keller Williams that would always talk about their fear of rejection or whatever, talking to these for sale by owners. And it supercharged me.
Yeah.
It gave me energy. Like, I loved it. I loved the back and forth. I loved the, combativeness of it. Like,
Yeah.
and I would call people over and over again until they either listed with me or they told me, no, stop calling me. So I just loved it, And so, yeah, that first year in real estate, I sold $4 million worth of real estate.
wow, your very first
my
year.
first year. So it was fun.
Yeah.
It was so much fun. And that was like from July to December. That wasn't even like a full year, but.
And you were like, man, I wish I'd have done this 5 years ago. It was that
I
kind
wish
of
I would
thing.
have kept my license, active
Yeah.
from 99 till
Well, and
then. But
you definitely seem like someone that no matter what it is you're doing, you kind of engross yourself in it. You're all in.
Mm-hmm.
You don't come off as the type of person that's like a part-time anything. Just excited and enthusiastic about whatever it is you're kind of trying to do. So real estate, obviously no different. And you do that. You go, you rock and roll. Like you said, it's 10 years since you've got your license, and you've seen a lot of success with that. So what does Kai do? I think I'm going to challenge myself again. Anybody else would be like, I'm loving this and just steady doing what they're doing until I guess the success just runs out. But no, you're kind of at the top of your game. You're selling houses left, right, and sideways, and you say, I'm going to go ahead and do something even more challenging, which was to become a broker and open up Anchor Realty Group, right?
yes.
Wow.
Yes. Yeah. And I got my broker's license in January of 2020.
Yeah.
So-
great timing.
Then COVID hit. So
Yes.
that was an exciting time too, because I had no idea what was going to happen. Nobody had ever been through a pandemic like that before. So I had no idea what the market was going to do.
If it wasn't for that, it would be too easy.
Right. Exactly. Boring.
Yeah, exactly. So you go into that, and before we really get into diving into your Anchor Realty Group, I want to get a sense of why when you made that process, that decision to be a broker. I mean, I'm sure you put some thought into it, and what was kind of the tipping scale for you to do that versus leaving comfort that you already had?
Yeah. Well, I went through a really tough time in 2019 and just really had to regroup my life. After going through a divorce and being separated, and I was a single mom for most of my real estate career, and I had no financial backing. So the only thing that I had was my random commission checks. And, you don't get paid till you're at the table. And so started doing property management and stuff like that to have some consistent income. But in 2019, just a tragedy hit and kind of put me in this place where I had to reevaluate my whole entire life.
Yeah.
And so through that process, really started getting my own act together. I went through a program at my church called Healing from Damaged Emotions. They would meet every Friday night. Went through that program 3 or 4 times and just got my head back, where it needed to be. And then really started focusing on just everything, my emotions, my emotional well-being, my physical well-being, financial. I really got serious about my finances. was able to pay off all of my debt in 2019, and then bought my first home for me and my kids. That's when I decided, looking back at my real estate career, I had capped everywhere I had gone, so at Keller Williams or wherever you are, usually you have a 70-30 split with your broker. Plus there's royalties, another 6% in royalties, and then there's a cap amount. So once you pay, $18,000 or whatever the brokerage fee is, $22,000, $32,000. But every year I was doing that and paying that much to my brokerage. And when I had my own house and, was on my own, I realize I could be saving all of this money, and that's my living expenses for me and my kids for the whole year.
Yeah.
And so that was kind of my motivation for opening my own brokerage, is just being able to keep that money for my kids and myself,
Yeah.
But as soon as I left, I had a friend that came on with me, and then it's kind of just grown slowly from there.
Fantastic.
But
very good, and no surprise. It seems like everything you do, you excel at, and this was just another challenge for you that you enjoyed, overcame, and now building this realty group. You're very independent.
I never wanted to be in a position where someone else or something else had influence over me or power over me.
Yes.
Whether it was money or a relationship or anything like that. I just wanted to be free. I have another tattoo on my shoulder that says "Live Free" because I just don't want to be in bondage to anything or anyone.
Stephanie Berthelot and the crew at SR Enterprise can handle it all, from sheetrock to texture to paint. Give Stephanie a call at 504-432-9284. SR Enterprise, where they spread the paint and you spread the word.
So that was always my mindset, is like, because if I don't take care of me, nobody else will.
That's right.
So that's always how I've lived my life, is trying to be in a place where nobody had that much influence over me or anything, whether it's money or a relationship.
One of the things that I know you talk about on your show is you want good talent and good realtors to come on board. And I'm going to tell you what, Kai is so awesome that I'm like, I ought to get my real estate license. Just, go to work with Kai for a little. I need a challenge.
Yes, do it.
Yeah. So, but honestly, I couldn't imagine a better person to kind of work with and grow with than Kai and Anchor Realty. So I did want to throw that out there, that you're constantly seeking, good realtors that maybe are high performing. And
yes, I would love some lots of producing agents. And one of the things about me opening my brokerage too is when I developed my compensation plan, I really wanted my agents to be able to keep most of their money. So my compensation plan, I only take $500 out of a commission check. So unless it's under $2,000, then it's only $150. But I didn't want to do a traditional split. I didn't want to have caps. I just wanted it to be fair. And I wanted my agents, knowing I was on the other end of that, and wanting to help families just like mine, single moms, who are, struggling just like I was, to be able to keep their money, because they work for it.
Sure.
I have the liability as their broker, but they're the ones who have their feet on the ground, who are working for it. And I know what it's like to show houses at 11 o'clock at night because you need to feed your kids. So I wanted them to be able to do that. So my brokerage fees I don't know another brokerage that takes less than I do.
Yeah.
So
very good. Well, another reason, y'all. Another reason. So you open Anchor Realty Group. It's 2020, as we mentioned. It's January 2020. So the whispers are out there. This COVID thing. I remember back in January 2020, it was kind of in China, and nobody kind of foresaw what happened. Were you thinking in your mind initially, oh my gosh, what have I done? Now I've opened up this brokerage and it's COVID.
No, because I never look at things as I'm going to fail at this. I always look at things optimistically, like at least I tried.
Yeah.
So even if I fail, I'm still learning. Every
Yes.
relationship that I've been through that has failed, I've always gained something from it. So learning something about myself or learning something about other people, learning how to improve on any situation is how I look at it. So there really is no such thing as failure to me.
That's right.
Because I'm constantly learning or pushing myself, challenging myself in any situation, whether I'm successful or not, just always looking to grow or improve on any situation.
Yeah, and you either win or you learn.
Yes.
That's what I tell people a lot. I used to tell sales reps, you miss 100% of the sales you don't ask for.
Absolutely.
So if you don't try something, you're definitely going to fail at it. I love that.
Yeah, and I definitely don't want to look back at my life with regrets. Like, I should have done that. I missed out on that. Yeah.
I hear you 100%. Yes. And that crossed my mind when I did this and left the security that I had where I was at and actually enjoyed what I did. But I didn't want to look back at 65 and say, I think I could have made a run at that and I'd chicken out, or I just didn't have the kahunas to jump out there and do it. So,
yeah. If you look at the impact that you're making in this city and the people that are here in the studio, and
and I learn from every day.
Yes.
I mean, I learn from you when you come in, and to me, that was the selfish side of it. Is like I get to surround myself with people that are successful, that have really just knocked it out of the ballpark with their life, and learn from these people, soak in like a sponge all the knowledge I can get. So it's selfish for me in a way, but yeah, when I lay my head on the pillow, if I feel like I help somebody, that's a good thing.
Absolutely.
Let's talk about the market a little bit. You are a bona fide real estate expert. And this market, the market for so long was, the housing market, the rates were bottoming out. It was cheap to, you were borrowing money for cheap, right? And the market was hot. People were buying houses left and right. So much so that it caused a shortage. I mean, you eventually you had more people wanting houses than houses.
Inventory, yes.
Yeah. So, I guess my first question is, rates have obviously ticked up a little bit. Some of that needed. I mean, it was so low for so long that it probably was normalizing itself or leveling itself out. Have you seen kind of a change in the market relative to the people out there wanting homes since that's happened?
Yeah, there's still an influx of buyers, but people have definitely slowed down and not gotten as emotional. Like, there's no feeding frenzy anymore.
Right.
But people are still looking for homes, and no matter the interest rate, people still have to buy, because it's always going to make more sense to buy, to purchase before renting.
100%.
So,
great point, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, and renting, obviously you're paying someone else's property off.
Exactly.
You're not paying your own off. It's not an asset. It's a debt. It's a liability.
You're not gaining equity.
Yeah.
So that's what I tell a lot of people right now, where they are worried about the interest rates. And I'm like, you're still gaining equity. So in 5 years, you still have equity, that if some kind of emergency happens or something needs to happen, you at least have a cushion that you're paying for. If you stay renting, you don't have that. Your house is, what is going to be permanent, and interest rates, as soon as they do go back down, you can always refinance.
That's right.
So you're not stuck.
Yeah, because some people, they need it, but they're like, maybe I'll wait about a month, and that interest rate, it could go the other way too. It could go higher. you just don't know. And
the interest rates are as bipolar as our politics right now. So.
And our gas prices.
Yes.
I agree. And our electricity prices.
Oh my gosh.
Wow.
I just feel so bad. I see all these people posting on Facebook, and I mean,
My brother-in-law died suddenly, and now my sister and her kids have to sell their home. That's why I told my husband we could not put off getting life insurance any longer. An agent offered us a 10-year, $500,000 policy for nearly $50 a month. Then we called SelectQuote. SelectQuote found us identical coverage for only $19 a month, a savings of $369 a year.
Whether you need a $500,000 policy or a $5 million policy, SelectQuote could save you more than 50% on term life insurance.
For your free quote, go to SelectQuote.com. SelectQuote.com. That's SelectQuote.com.
SelectQuote. We shop, you save. Full details on example policies at SelectQuote.com/commercials.
It is Ryan here, and I have a question for you. What do you do when you win? Like, are you a fist pumper? A woohooer, a hand clapper, a high fiver. I kind of like the high five, but if you want to hone in on those winning moves, check out Chumba Casino. At ChumbaCasino.com, choose from hundreds of social casino style games for your chance to redeem serious cash prizes. There are new game releases weekly, plus free daily bonuses. So don't wait. Start having the most fun ever at ChumbaCasino.com.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. See terms and conditions. 18+.
higher electricity bills than my mortgage.
Yes,
So
I've
it's
seen
insane.
That. I know, right? And look, I did levelized billing like 15 years ago just because I'm a budgeter.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, it'd be easier to budget it if it was around the same amount every month.
You're so trusting.
God, I know, right? But I did. And so now when everybody's getting these crazy bills, mine's $50-$60 higher than normal instead of $900 versus $200. Now, when in the wintertime I pay a little more than most people,
right,
but it evens itself out. It's just a formula.
Well, that's a good little nugget right there.
Yeah, levelized billing. I'm like, because I feel bad for him too. I had a friend who had like an $1,100 bill.
I can't imagine.
Electricity. That will like blow your budget for the year.
Does he have a Tesla?
Yeah, you would think he needs one. I'm telling you, look, solar panels, whatever. I mean, I can't wrap my head around solar panels though. It's just like ugly on the top of a house to me. I don't know, but maybe look, if I paid $1,000 a month, I'd look into it. Yeah. Yes, indeed. Or run an extension cord to my neighbor's house.
Right. Some splicing and dicing.
Yeah, that's right. I was just kidding, folks. I would never do that. Never do that. You do a lot of extra, as I like to say. Kai's a little bit extra sometimes. Yes. She does a little bit extra.
I'm actually super extra.
Super extra. Yes, you are. Yes, you are. So she has a show called Conversations with Kai, where she comes on. What I love about it is number one, something that you're doing for the people you represent. If you're selling a home and Kai is representing you, there's a good chance she's going to blast that on YouTube that, hey, look at this beautiful rental on Eddie Lane.
Yes.
She has one, by the way. If you're interested, $100,000. And it's pretty awesome. Duplex. So you come on the show and you put pictures up and you talk a little bit about these and you tell a little bit about yourself and you talk about the market a little bit. So it's really interesting. But it's something you don't have to do. You do it because it's just who you are. You're going the extra mile for somebody. I think it's something that separates you from many brokers and realtors and all that is the fact, hey, you've got your own YouTube channel where you're promoting these people and then you're sharing it on your social. Other people are sharing it on theirs. And through that, we hope that some buyers see it and boom.
And that's one of the things that I share on there too, that not a lot of people do, is my buyer's needs. Yeah. Because it's easy to promote listings because we have the information on the homes, but buyer needs are a whole different ballgame. Right. And so being consistent about being proactive for looking for properties for my buyers and not just selling properties that I have listed is such an added value too, because not everybody's doing that either.
No, really not. And look, she will even look for people sometime to give them money. And if you want to know what that's all about, click on the link in the description of this episode. We're going to link some of Kai's episodes. But she looks for people who got lost money. And I'm waiting for her to say, James Chapman. If anybody knows James Chapman, because I'm going to raise my hand.
Look, I'm looking for me too. I'm hoping some of these properties have my name on them too, on the title work. So.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. So that's just one of the many ways you go above and beyond what you necessarily have to do and what most realty companies and brokers are not doing, quite frankly. And so shout out to you on that. To me, that makes you like a total hustler. What that light says right there, hustle. That is you. And speaking of that, you have some other avenues in which you spend your time away from real estate. You're a health coach.
Yes.
Tell me about that.
Well, one of my friends is a health coach, and one day we were at lunch and I was just asking her, tell me a little bit about your program. And, she told me some things. And she asked me, well, what are your goals? And I said, well, I've been working out with my husband for a year, and I just have this layer of fluff that I want to get rid of. You've seen my husband. I mean, he has 0% body fat.
He's like monster, y'all. I mean, in a good way. Like he's the Hulk.
He's nothing but muscle, and I can't be sloppy and have a husband that looks like that. So,
he doesn't sit around and eat like junk food, and you're like, how do you do that?
I'm not even going to talk about his diet habits because it does.
Shout out, Freddie.
I mean, yeah, exactly. Hey, but the dude eats Oreo. His pre-workout is Oreo cookies. He'll eat Oreo cookies on the way to the gym. Some people just got good and then tell me, well, you can't outwork a bad diet. And I'm like, while you're eating Oreos on the way to the gym. But it works for some people. It doesn't work for others.
Good genes.
Yes, he is very, very good genes. But so I wanted to be able to see my abs again. And she took my credit card, put me on program. I followed it. And 3 weeks later, I literally could see my abs. So I got excited about it. And then when she asked me about coaching, I was like, yeah, I'll do that. I had gone viral back in November. And so I was like, I really think
viral, y'all.
Yeah.
She's going to go right past that, but I'm going to slow her down because that's a big deal. That's like 1 million people. Mm-hmm. That's huge. And how did you go viral?
I had some family drama on Thanksgiving Day, and I posted something.
It's always a good way to go viral, right? Especially on Thanksgiving Day.
It was Thanksgiving Day, and I posted a picture of my family with some verbiage on there about boundaries, and it just took off. And I'm sure that there were millions of other people who were going through the same thing on that day because, the holidays are always crazy.
Yeah.
So, I mean, just shared. I mean, over and over. I still have people that contact me now and they're like, they ask me, I have this situation going on with my families. How do I even set boundaries? And so I point them to books and other resources that have helped me because I didn't understand what boundaries were until I was, in my late 30s.
Yeah.
And so, but man, the peace that it brings to your life is, I wish I would have known this a long time ago. It would have saved me from a lot of heartache. In relationships and stuff like that, understanding boundaries.
100%. And, toxicity, I guess would be the word, is not good in anybody's life.
No.
It is like junk going into your well-being.
Yeah.
And it will eat you alive if you let it.
And the reason that you can be a hustler is when you're feeding yourself positivity.
Yes.
You have to make a conscious decision about doing away with negativity.
Yes.
And so setting boundaries is part of that, setting boundaries and then the value that my kids are going to have from learning to set those boundaries too. So they don't follow in the same footsteps that I did in some relationships,
Good.
So that was important for me too. But yeah, that's how I went viral back in November was because of some family drama.
Awesome. Mm-hmm. Awesome. Well, there you go. If you have some family drama, post it. And you too can go viral on Thanksgiving. BJ Pawn and Gun in Denham Springs wants to buy your unwanted gold jewelry, gold coins, and gold bullion. With 30 years of experience operating in the Livingston Parish area, BJ Pawn wants to be your source when selling your gold. So stop by BJ Pawn today for a no-obligation offer. BJ Pawn, a proud sponsor of Local Leaders, the podcast. You became a health coach and how's that been?
Oh, it's been fun. I made senior coach immediately.
Yeah.
I have so many success stories. One of my clients yesterday posted he's lost over 50 pounds in 4 months, four pant sizes. My newest client lost 17 pounds in 2.5 weeks. He's off one of his diabetes medicine.
That's
and
huge.
He's on 2, but is moving towards we'll do away with that one too. So the success that I see people, and then that drives me, because seeing you're just like you just said, seeing other people succeed and feeding off of that, it amps you up. You just
love it.
You feel super powered because of their success and something that they're doing. And then you realize that, it just supercharges you. You're
making a difference in someone's life. And I mean, to the point that they can get off diabetic medicine.
Yes, it's a big deal.
That's huge.
Yeah.
Life and death in some cases,
right.
So, and so when you play, just a small part in that, it feels so good.
Yes.
And so good for you. That's awesome. And what is it like an exercise program or is it a drink or is it,
you don't have to exercise on it. The plan is 5 meals throughout the day. So my husband always tells people, he's been preaching this, for years, but your metabolism is like a fire. So you always want to throw, fuel the fire, throw wood into the fire to help it burn. And so the program is preset meals. 5 of them are from us, and then they're responsible for 1 lean and green, and we give recipes in our community, and they're really good too. Yeah. That's what draws most of the attention is the healthy recipes that I post on my Facebook. They blow up because people do want to be healthy, but they just don't know what they don't know. And so this program and being plugged into that community helps people so much. And you don't stay on program. It's transformations of health that we show people that once you're on program, how to make healthy choices, whether you're at a restaurant, and portion control, because that was my issue too. I always gave myself an excuse to overeat because I ate clean, because my husband eats, brown rice and broccoli and chicken every single day. And so I'm like, well, I'm eating clean. Right. So I exercise, I work out, so I'm just going to overeat. Yeah. And so it's learning good habits of health. Like, no, you can eat half of this and then the other half in 2.5 hours or 3 hours, so you're never hungry. So
good point. Yeah. And people, I just had a salad, but if the salad's is, ginormous and got everything on it.
Well, and condiments, people don't realize how many calories most of our condiments have in it.
Ranch dressing.
My favorite.
Yeah. But it goes on a salad, and look, that's right. It plays a part.
Yeah.
So if you're interested in that, we'll link some information to where you can get in touch with Kyle on that. Now, you also breed English bulldogs.
English bulldogs.
Wow.
Yes. Yeah.
That's like babies.
They are like babies.
Yes.
I have a litter of 8 right now. And it's so funny because even this morning, they're graduating to wet dog food. And you can see some of them are like, yes, I'm all about this. I want to grow. This is something different. I want to do this. And then some of them want nothing to do with it. And they want to stay on mom.
Yeah.
And I was thinking about that doing the podcast today about how same litter, same mom, same dad, but some of these puppies want to grow and do something different, and then half of them are just still want to be on the tit.
I love it.
So, but yes, they are like children. And for the first 2 weeks, like with English Bulldogs, you really have to micromanage because they're not smart dogs.
Yes.
And so they'll lay on their puppies and, do crazy stuff. So it really is like having newborns in the house. I mean, sleeping on the couch for 2 weeks and, checking on them every 30 minutes throughout the night. And And English Bulldogs are the most, like, they have to be artificially inseminated. They have to have C-sections. So there's a lot of work that goes into this breed.
You pick an easy breed.
Yeah.
I mean, that wouldn't be a challenge.
No. I did not do my research before this, but I love every single one of them too.
Yeah,
like
I
love
cutest breed of dog.
Oh my goodness! It's literally like having grand fur babies.
Yeah,
like you just feel it's just so special. Like
love it,
having these little puppies.
Love it.
Yeah.
And as if that was not enough, you also are a member of 7K Metals Association. Represent them. And look, if anybody is a person that says diversify your portfolio with silver and gold, it's me.
Coin collecting, and they have all kind of cool metals. I mean, they have an
trust
animal series. They have a lot of political stuff that
Great
the
Trump
Eagles.
coins.
Yes, huge, big Trump coins.
Yes.
So the Pearl Harbor one that just came out. So they have so many different cool coin collections, and just if you decide to share it and share the opportunity with other people, there's an opportunity to make money. It's just like a Costco or Sam's membership. You pay a 1-year membership and then you get to be a part of the program. But the thing I like about 7K Metals is it's not just coin collecting. They also have like a group insurance plan that people can get on. There's a lot of opportunities with 7K Metals that are pretty cool.
There you go. So if you're interested in that, look Miss Kai up. We'll link some information on that as well to this episode. We're going to have like 200 links because she does so much stuff. Yeah. Just jumping back to your craft, which is your brokerage, Anchor Realty. You're also a member of several organizations directly related to real estate, as well as serving on the Greater Baton Rouge Association of Realty in the Relations Committee. So tell us kind of about that.
Well, really got into that a year and a half ago, but serving on that committee this year, and it's really opened my eyes to the political side. So what the Government Relations Committee does is we help fund people in local government that help us just keep the homeowners happy and protected.
Yeah.
And so that board helps fund people, or that committee helps fund people that are on the same page as realtors when it comes to protecting people's real estate.
Absolutely. And you're wanting to support, and stand behind people that have, definitely the real estate community in mind.
For sure.
And so I think it's a fabulous committee in particular to be on, someone that's been in the real estate world, before I started doing this my entire life. Mm-hmm. So that's
yeah. And I'm also on the professional standards committee. And if there's ever any ethics issues or anything like that, there's people who help facilitate those interactions where we try to get people on the same page and understanding, the rules, because sometimes people mess up and they don't even they don't even know it, or maybe it's intentional. But either way,
innocent mistakes sometimes.
Yeah, but either way, that committee also helps facilitate, how that's taken care of through our board.
Very good. And in addition to that, you're a member of BNI. Mm-hmm. What's your chapter name?
Ascension Producers.
Ascension Producers. And for those that may be unfamiliar, BNI is a business networking organization that is really worldwide. But many chapters right here in the Baton Rouge area, and Kai holds that realty seat over at the Ascension Producers.
The commercial real estate seat. Yes,
they are known as the second best chapter. Besides my chapter, just kidding. They're a great chapter. We're tied for best chapter.
And it's so funny because my mom is the one who introduced me to B&I, because my mom is in a chapter in Baton Rouge as well.
Is she really?
Yeah.
Okay.
And Beth Smith, she's Busy Bees Custom Blinds.
There you go.
She's at the one that meets at Price LeBlanc. But she invited me to B&I to introduce her one week, and I did. I had no idea what a B&I meeting was, and then she just throws me in there. And she has the biggest chapter. They have like 50 members in their chapter. So,
wow, that is.
But I got business from people just going to introduce her. In that chapter. And so when one of my friends told me about the commercial seat available in her chapter, I went, and my dues were paid before I even joined, because I was getting commercial listings before, just as a guest.
Yes, and I'm glad you brought that up. Kai, she's also unique in that she can do both commercial and residential realty, and so
property management, homeowners associations, anything real estate related. I'm your girl.
She definitely is. And if there's something that comes out, she'll get certified for it. Don't worry.
Yes, I'm working towards my CCIM in commercial real estate. Also signing up for relocation companies. I'm always looking for opportunities to, I'm short sale and REO certified, which REO just means real estate owned, so it's foreclosure. So just always looking to grow in every part of real estate. I don't want to limit myself.
Love it. So basically if you have to sell something in real estate or buy something in real estate, call Kai. She can do it. There's no doubt. And of course, we'll link all that information to the description of this video. You're also a leader in that you give back, and you give back through many ways, through your church and things that you do there. You also promote Empower 225, which is a nonprofit. I think it's based out of Baton Rouge. Kind of give me a short synopsis of what that is.
So Empower 225 really focuses on our inner city youth and just pulling them off the streets and showing them opportunities. I mean, now they have private schooling that they do for these kids, and, in a classroom where they feel neglected and that they're just going there to waste time, they'll pull kids out of there and really give them one-to-one training. And I mean, every year I go to their gala, and they have personal stories of kids that get up there and talk about how Empower 225 has changed their lives, and it just hits you. I mean, these are kids that they'll tell you, I was robbing people. I didn't care. I didn't know any better. I was just doing the things that other people do around me and just trying to survive. And literally these guys at Empower 225 pulling them off of the streets and saying, hey, we want you to be a part of our program. Come. And then they'll bring them in and totally change their lives. I mean, this latest kid learned how to drive trucks, and now he wants to own a trucking business when he gets older, and literally pulling him off the streets from jacking people to learning that he has the ability to make his own money and do his own thing and make his own way, and seeing the lives that are changed in the inner city community, and having a husband that's a cop, just the Empower 225 and their passion for these kids, it's just something that we're very, enthusiastic about.
Yeah.
Because it really is changing lives.
Yeah, it really is. And sometimes all people need is a little bit of hope.
Guidance.
Someone to mentor them.
And knowing that they're cared about and they're seen and their life is not just pointless.
That's right. I agree 100%. So thank you for your work with Empower 225. Social media, big thing for realtors, big thing for you, obviously. Shout out your social media so people can follow you, even though I'm going to link all that in this episode, like I'm doing everything else.
So I have Anchor Realty Group has its own Facebook page, and then I have Kai Smith Burton Realtor on Facebook as well, but Instagram, Twitter. I love Twitter because you can just say whatever you want to on Twitter.
Twitter?
Oh, yes. I love Twitter.
I cannot grasp Twitter. I don't know what it is. I tweet, and I know how it works, but it's a hard animal to, it's so hard to get, because they have to tweet your tweets, right?
Yeah.
So they have to retweet. And I don't know, man, maybe I'm just so I have so many that I control that I'm like, oh gosh, it's just one more that I gotta, but
LinkedIn. I was on TikTok, but I got banned. I don't even know why. We're still trying to figure that out. But
you got banned from TikTok?
I got banned from TikTok. I have no idea. How in the world I did that. But
that's awesome.
My Anchor Realty Group still has a TikTok, but my personal TikTok got banned. So LinkedIn, I think that's it.
You got an Insta?
Yeah, I have an Instagram.
Okay.
Yeah,
and
personal and
Facebook, obviously.
Yes.
Okay, good deal. So and look, she also has a YouTube, which we'll link.
Yes, YouTube.
And so there's all kinds of ways to follow Miss Kai and get in touch with her for anything that we talked about today. And we ran the gamut. You had fun?
Yes.
She is y'all. She's polished now. She's been doing it a little while. She's getting used to that camera.
I know. I'm like a dinosaur now in the real estate industry. I feel
That's it. So thank you for coming on.
Thank
Appreciate
you for
it,
inviting me.
Folks. I couldn't recommend a better realty group for you to seek out if you're a buyer or a seller. They can help you. So reach out to them today. Real quick, want to shout out all and thank everyone. Bloody Angola, a prison podcast by Woody Overton and Jim Chapman, really has taken off and look, number 5 on the Apple Podcast charts, which absolutely blows my mind and Woody's mind, and we cannot thank y'all enough for sharing it, loving it, commenting on it. Nothing but love. We really appreciate that. So thank you, and thank you for definitely sharing Local Leaders the podcast. Of course, this is my baby over here, so this is I really appreciate all of y'all watching, sharing, and commenting on Local Leaders of Podcast. So until next time, I'm Jim Chapman, reminding you, love your community, support local business and local brokers, just like Miss Kai Burton, and keep leading. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Hello, it is Ryan, and we could all use an extra bright spot in our day, couldn't we? Just to make up for things like sitting in traffic, doing the dishes, counting your steps, all the mundane stuff. That is why I'm such a big fan of Chumba Casino. Chumba Casino has all your favorite social casino-style games that you can play for free anytime, anywhere with daily bonuses. That should brighten your day a little. Actually, a lot. So sign up now at ChumbaCasino.com. That's ChumbaCasino.com.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. See terms and conditions. 18+.
Okay, round 2. Name something that's not boring.
A laundry? Ooh, a book club. Computer solitaire, huh?
Ah, sorry. We were looking for Chumba Casino. That's right. ChumbaCasino.com has over 100 casino-style games. Join today and play for free for your chance to redeem some serious prizes. ChumbaCasino.com.
No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18+. Terms and conditions apply. See website for details.